So there I was, sitting on the cramped office couch during our annual holiday party, surrounded by laughter, the smell of spiced cider, and the ever-growing mountain of awkwardly wrapped gifts on the table. In my hands was this ridiculously, painfully over-the-top present, like someone had attacked it with a roll of tinsel, neon bows, and enough glitter to carpet the entire break room. I peeled back the layers, each fold revealing more sparkly chaos. And I couldn't help but wonder, have you ever been put in charge of something you didn't even volunteer for? Because, yep, that was me holding a Secret Santa gift I never meant to buy. Let me back up a bit. Our office Secret Santa? It's a sacred tradition, has been for years. Everyone signs up, draws a name out of a hat, and then spends a week or so sneaking around hunting for the perfect gift, something creative, thoughtful, or at least vaguely funny. You know, gifts that say, I see you, not, I panicked and grabbed this at the checkout lane. The stakes are real, mess it up, and you're the butt of jokes for the next 12 months. Except, here's the kicker, I wasn't on the list. Somehow, without my knowledge, Jessica, the overly enthusiastic whirlwind of the office, signed me up. Yeah, Jessica with her unstoppable, let's make this office fun mantra. I only found out about it when she slid this wrapped insanity across my desk with a grin that said, "You're in, buddy." Panic set in almost instantly. How do you buy a clever, thoughtful gift for someone in an office of 20 without knowing who you're shopping for? And how do you not look like the guy who just grabbed some generic nonsense off the clearance rack? As I awkwardly tore off ribbons in front of my coworkers, trying to piece together what might be inside, I felt the pressure building. There was no way my accidental participation was going to go smoothly. Something told me this holiday season was going to get a lot more complicated, and not in the fun, we're making gingerbread houses kind of way. But, well, at least it promised to be memorable. So, here's how the whole Secret Santa ordeal usually rolls in our office. It's one of those traditions everyone kind of looks forward to and dreads at the same time. Each year, there's a sign-up sheet pinned up by the water cooler, mandatory for the fun police types like Jessica, optional for the rest of us reluctant souls. Once you sign up, you draw a coworker's name from a hat, and then the game is on. The unwritten rule? You find a gift that's creative or thoughtful enough to dodge any teasing, but not so extravagant that it feels like you're trying to one-up the accounting department. It's a delicate balance. I should have stayed out of it. But no! Jessica, with a grin that could power a small city, decided it would be hilarious to sign me up anyway. How she managed that without me noticing is still a mystery. I didn't catch her slipping my name onto the list during the team meeting or the coffee break, but somehow it happened. And the moment I realized, well, let's just say my enthusiasm plummeted faster than the office thermostat in winter. Jessica is like this tiny tornado of holiday spirit. She carries around a clipboard decorated with candy canes and sparkly stickers, and she talks about gift exchanges like it's a sacred ritual. It's about spreading joy and camaraderie. She chirped, practically bouncing on the balls of her feet as she handed me that insanely wrapped package. You're gonna love it, it's fun, trust me. But here's the thing, I'm not exactly the fun type. I'm more of the, can we get back to work? Type, especially when it comes to last-minute gifting. Plus, Secret Santa in this office is steeped in unspoken pressure. Not only do you have to be creative, but if your gift sucks, you're the butt of jokes for the next entire year. And some of these people have a memory like elephants on espresso. So panic was my first real reaction, somewhere between, what am I supposed to do? And Jessica, how could you? My mind spun into overdrive. Who was I buying for? What did they like? Would I be forced to explain why I bought an ugly mug that says World's Okayest Employee again this year? Because, spoiler alert, last year's winner had some choice words for the okayest mug. I felt this slow-burning dread that somehow it was all going to go sideways. The worst part? No one tells you who your recipient is right off the bat. You have to wait. For days. Jessica claimed it keeps the mystery alive, but honestly, it just made me squirm. I started doing the thing where I would casually hover by the Secret Santa sign-up board, pretending to check on holiday potluck details, but really I was shamelessly eavesdropping on who picked whom. Yeah, totally subtle. And then, just when I thought I'd gleaned some clues, I hit a wall. The office is this weird mix of outspoken characters and people who are practically invisible, like Emily. She's our office admin, quieter than most, but with this sharp, almost ninja-like awareness of everything going on. No one really knows what she's into because she never volunteers that info or draws attention to herself. If you asked me a week ago what kind of things Emily likes, I'd have said, probably coffee, organization, and peace and quiet, which, while technically true, doesn't exactly scream inspirational gift. Jessica noticed my panicked pacing one day and came over with that over-the-top enthusiasm. Relax. It's just a gift, she said, like I was about to launch into a military operation. Just think of it as a chance to show you care, or at least to play it safe and be funny. Trust me, that's half the battle. Easy for her to say, right? She has this uncanny ability to turn anything into a party. She probably wouldn't blink twice about buying some quirky socks or a glittery candle, and that would be it. Meanwhile, I was trying to imagine all the ways this could go horribly wrong. What if I guessed wrong? What if my gift was so off base people started whispering behind their hands? I was already rehearsing my, "hey, I was really busy" excuse for the inevitable roasting. Days ticked by. I took every distracted glance as a possible hint, listening for anyone mentioning their recent wish list or favorite hobbies in passing, desperate for a clue. And then came the news that hit like a snowball to the face. My recipient was Emily. Of course. Now, I'm not saying Emily is ungrateful or anything. She's actually one of the nicest people around the office. But buying for someone so low-key and private? That's like trying to put together a jigsaw puzzle when half the pieces are missing and no picture on the box. Suddenly, I had like 3 days left until the gift exchange party, and the clock was ticking louder than the office clock hitting 5 on a Friday. I started scrambling, Googling creative gifts for quiet coworkers, wandering through 3 different stores pretending I was just browsing, and even trying to stealthily ask other coworkers if they had any insight into Emily's interests. Spoiler alert, no one had the slightest clue. At one point, I thought, maybe just a nice notebook or a fancy pen, but those felt so generic, you know? And seeing how Jessica's bar for creative was miles above mine didn't help. So yeah, here I was, scrambling, sweating, and biting my nails over a gift for someone who could probably appreciate a thoughtful gesture, but certainly wouldn't give me a hint about what that might be. Did I mention the added pressure that Mark, our no-nonsense boss, would be judging every gift? He's not the fun police kind. He's more like the fun helicopter oversight committee, always subtly reminding us to keep things professional but daring enough to drop an eyebrow when the glitter went overboard last year. Honestly, I started to wish I could just be unsigned up, go back to my desk, and drown my holiday stress in spreadsheets instead. But then, well, Jessica reminded me again that it wouldn't be so bad, and there was still time. So, reluctantly, I decided to dive in. Maybe, just maybe, I could pull off a thoughtful gift without totally embarrassing myself. At least, that was the plan in theory. Because if you think buying a gift for someone you barely know is tricky, wait until you try doing it in secret, under a deadline, with 20 sets of eyes proposing a million different ideas, and Jessica gleefully micromanaging the whole process. And, well, things were about to get a lot more interesting. Alright, so here I was, on the verge of utter gift-giving collapse. My brain was spinning like one of those office fans nobody ever uses but magazines swear they're essential. I had basically tried every last-minute idea in the book, or in the internet search bar, with zero luck. First attempt, I thought, hey, why not something quirky and personalized? So I stalked Emily's desk for clues. Nothing super revealing besides that cute little succulent she had, which looked impeccably cared for. Perfect. I thought, a plant. Easy, right? Nope. The local gardening store was completely sold out of anything remotely appealing, can you believe it? 1 week before Christmas, and not a single trendy air plant to be found. So that was a fail. Next, I tried to be all crafty. I figured I'd make a DIY gift because nothing says thoughtful, like hours of Pinterest-induced frustration and a glue gun disaster waiting to happen. I bought some supplies, got home, and after about 10 minutes and 3 crooked cuts later, I had, well, a sad-looking photo frame with glitter glued all over it. Funny, maybe. Thoughtful? Not really. Even Jessica might have raised an eyebrow at that one. The worst part was trying to figure out who Emily really was. I mean, I'd seen her around forever, but I hadn't exactly had the deep and meaningful conversations with her. She's quiet, keeps to herself mostly, and leaves the office pretty promptly every day. Meanwhile, I'm trending somewhere between socially awkward and accidental wallflower. Not the best combo for cracking the gift code. So I pulled the ultimate sneaky move, Operation Spy Mode. I lurked during lunch breaks, casually joining the break room just to catch whispers, hoping to overhear a casual mention about Emily's favorite things. No luck. People were either talking about Mark's questionable fruitcake recipe or Jessica's endless holiday cheer, which, to be honest, I was less interested in. In one desperate moment, I even tried to pass a casual, "Hey, have you got any idea what Emily might like?" to a random coworker. The response? A blank stare and a polite but totally useless, not really, sorry. Classic. With 2 days left, the pressure was officially on. I settled on a plan B. Assemble a gift basket with general nice stuff, fancy tea, some gourmet chocolates, and a nice notebook that wasn't boring. I figured it checked enough boxes. Useful, neutral, a little bit classy, but then the twist. As I was gathered supplies from the office supply closet. Yeah, that sad little place tucked beneath the copier. I bumped into Emily herself. She was quiet but smiled warmly, and the last thing I wanted was for her to catch me in the act of, maybe, possibly, obsessively deliberating over her gift. Trying to play it cool, I kind of stumbled over my words. "Hey, Emily." Just, grabbing some stuff for the holiday party? She gave me this knowing look, like she could see right through the whole charade. Then she said, Secret Santa? With a small smile, clearly guessing my mission. I nodded, sheepishly. Yeah, and I gotta admit, I'm a bit out of my depth. She laughed softly, which honestly made me feel kind of better. Then she casually mentioned, Honestly, I'm just happy someone thought of me. It's the thought that counts, right? That was unexpected. Here I was, sweating over giving the perfect present, and Emily just wanted a kind gesture. Despite that little moment of relief, the clock was still ticking loud. Party day was looming, and my great general gift basket had to be put together in a way that didn't scream. I panicked and grabbed random items on the way out. So I rushed to the checkout, mentally running through every embarrassing scenario where I'd be unmasked as the accidental Secret Santa disaster. Back at the office, I wrapped the gift as best I could. No glitter this time, I promised myself, and put a little note on top, something sincere but not too mushy. By the time the party rolled around, I was hovering somewhere between nervous wreck and hope for the best. Jessica, of course, was bouncing around excitedly, totally oblivious to my silent freakout. And then, there was Emily, quietly accepting this odd little box from me, her expression unreadable at first. I realized right then that no matter the outcome, this whole thing was, definitely going to be one for the books. But would she like it? Or would my accidental Secret Santa gig go down as the office's greatest gift-giving train wreck? I handed Emily the gift with all the subtlety of a squirrel, presenting it not awkward, a bit frantic, and with a raised eyebrow that silently asked, Please don't hate me. She took the box, peeling off the wrapping paper gently like she was unwrapping a fragile secret. For a second, the whole room seemed to hush, probably because Jessica was holding her breath nearby. Then Emily smiled. Not just the polite smile you give when you're stuck opening a gift from your fifth cousin twice removed, but a genuine, soft smile that made me feel like maybe, just maybe, I hadn't totally blown it. Oh, wow. This is really thoughtful, she said, pulling out each item from the basket. The fancy tea, the chocolates, the notebook. You didn't have to do all this. I couldn't exactly hide the relief that hit me like a warm cup of cocoa. She flipped through the notebook and then looked up, eyes sparkling a little. I actually love tea, and, well, this is perfect. Suddenly, all those panicked shopping trips and half-baked ideas felt worth it. And judging by the small group gathering around, a few of my coworkers were giving me a nod of approval, the kind you only get when you're not the office holiday disaster. Jessica naturally couldn't resist chiming in. See? Told you it'd be great. I knew you had it in you. And yeah, I might have rolled my eyes, but inside, I was almost starting to believe her. What I didn't expect was how that little moment sparked something else. Post-gift exchange, Emily and I ended up chatting more than ever before, just casual stuff about books, favorite winter drinks, annoying email mishaps. Suddenly, she didn't seem like the quiet office admin who blended into the background. She became someone I actually looked forward to seeing in the mornings, which is a weird thing to say considering past holiday nerves. And Mark? Well, he gave a rare nod of approval when he noticed my modest but thoughtful gift on Emily's desk the next day. No eyebrows raised, no side-eye. Just that not bad. Look, he saves for rare occasions. I took that as a win. Looking back, I get it now. Getting roped into something you never signed up for isn't always awful. Sometimes, it pushes you out of your comfort zone in the best way. There's a weird sort of magic in fumbling through something unfamiliar, doing a little extra because it matters, to someone else, even quietly. So yeah, my accidental Secret Santa gig wasn't just about surviving an office tradition. It was about learning a little patience, a bit of thoughtfulness, and realizing that sometimes a gift isn't about being perfect, it's about being genuine. Ever been dragged into something unexpected and surprised yourself by how it turned out? Because honestly, that's the best kind of holiday magic I've found.